tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
All right, welcome to another episode of Dancing with the Stars here on AFTERBUZZ TV. We are just like getting everyone in studio right now as we speak. I'm Kristyn Burtt. Next to me today, Trebunskaya. Hi, I made it. She's here. That's all that matters. Across the table from me, Suri Serano. Hi, everybody. And finally, she's back. We missed her last season. Joining us in studio today, Sharna Burgess.
Hi, guys.
So welcome back. We missed you last season.
Thank you. It's awesome to be back. I certainly missed being here last season, too.
I know you were busy with Charlie, though, so.
Yes.
Very. If you're looking for Jake Dupree, he's at a callback, so wish him luck. Hopefully he'll get the job. There you go. You know, before we get into tonight, can we just go back to last season for just a moment since we didn't have you in studio? I mean, what an incredible season with Charlie. Just kind of sum up maybe in just like a couple words what it meant to you.
Oh, wow.
If you can.
Ooh, in a couple words is really tough. He's an amazing individual, and getting to know him was certainly a blessing. And being able to go so far with choreography and creatively, I could put anything on him and he would be able to do it. And that was such a wonderful feeling too. I just felt like I let him down in not getting him to the final, and that was the hardest part about the whole thing. But he's still a friend today. He and Tanith, and we talk all the time, and we're actually going to dance together at a Shall We Dance on Ice special in December.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah, which I'm really excited about. So
it's going to be so much fun.
But it was wonderful. I was really happy with last season, other than the not making the final situation.
I have a theory about that, Charlie not making it in the final.
What is it?
Are you going to tell us? Because you can't keep it in your head now.
He was the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all see that.
I think we all kind of saw it. Once it happened, we're like, okay.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, I mean, him and Meryl were two best dancers and just came off the Olympics, just got gold. There was absolutely no reason for him not to have enough votes.
Right.
And all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. So I can say whatever I want. Because I'm not on Dancing with the Stars at the moment.
And that's your theory. And we've said all season long, you stacked him with content in a lot of those dances.
Yes.
So, and he nailed it. And gosh darn it, Mary Poppins, that was my favorite number all season.
Made me so happy.
I know, me too. I still watch that to feel good sometimes.
Your choreography is out of this world. Yeah,
just thank you.
So
incredible.
Yeah.
I know you probably didn't hear all season, so we just wanted to give you a little bit of season.
Make sure
that you felt the love.
Thank you. That's amazing.
All right. Well, let's get into week 6 of season 19, Latin Night with. Thank you very much.
What is this
happening over there?
I don't know. I'm being felt up by Anna.
Oh, you have a key?
Yes, these are the giving keys. We'll talk all about them.
Okay.
All right. This we had our guest judge and performer. It was Pitbull, also part of the opening number, and also ABC's American Music Awards host. So there's your promotion.
Wow.
He's the host from
American Music Awards coming up on ABC.
That will be interesting. I mean, a star of the opening number is sitting across us.
Did he handpick you? Because I know he didn't want the men around him.
He really didn't want any men around him. We had to push to get those 3 seconds of the guys and the couple dancing in there at all. But I don't know how that ended up that I was sort of that girl for him. It certainly wasn't him that selected it. We were staged and everything before he got there. But there was one moment on the couch where literally our noses touched and I was like, oh. I didn't think it was going to get this close. I was like, oh my goodness. And then he smacked my butt at one point, and I was like, okay, wow, this is a lot. Hi, Pitbull. Nice to meet you.
He clearly knows about the hashtag Sharna's butt.
Oh, right.
Yes.
He was like, you got to check that out.
Who choreographed the number?
Mandy Moore.
Okay.
Yeah, gorgeous. Gorgeous choreography. I mean, all the girls were just fantastic. I mean, I mean, for the fact that Pitbull wanted to be the only guy, okay, whatever. But the fact that they are using girls and girl power, it's, I mean, just for the best. Because I feel Dancing with the Stars is so kind of gets professional male dancers heavy in the actual show because they take their shirts off. We can, but not really. You know, we shouldn't.
We can, but we shouldn't.
We should keep our bras or at least pasties on. Breast pads, stuff like that. So it's a lot of women watch the show.
Yeah.
You know, so it's definitely very professional, male heavy because that's kind of what they want. You know.
Yeah.
The audience. So the fact that the girls are part of the opening numbers and just there was so much more girl stuff.
So featured.
It's
I think,
so great because male dominance not in dancing, like hello, that's
just in general
looks
in Hollywood,
more
that's
beautiful on women anyway.
Yeah.
Every week, sorry, really quick, I have to add to that. Every week, the opening numbers with all the females are blowing me away this season.
Exactly.
I can't get enough of it. They're so gorgeous and so sexy and passionate and powerful and incredible.
Yeah.
I love the girls they have right now.
Who runs the world?
Oh, that one. That was a good one.
I know
That was a good one.
I have to say, the girls' number that we did open with that Mandy did to, I can't remember the song right now, but we were all in white. That was so much fun
gorgeous.
to learn. Just getting that sassy and being able to do it. Because it's Dancing with the Stars, so you never really knew whether you could cross that line or not.
Right.
But we've certainly crossed that line.
It's done.
That line doesn't exist anymore.
And a lot of people were asking about the extra dancers. It was Brooklyn and Brittany from So You Think You Can Dance for people that watch that show. And
Who
then
was
two
the
Pitbulls.
redhead? Who was
Her
the
name's Kim. She's a fantastic dancer.
Yes,
she's one of
gorgeous.
Pitbull's dancers as well.
Oh, she's one of the Pitbulls. Because my boyfriend's like, oh, look, they have a redhead. I was like, yeah.
Where am I?
Yeah, honey.
You're like,
How's dinner? You better be happy about that. I'm here. I'm cooking dinner for you.
No.
He is. He's very happy that I'm next to him.
And then Erin was out because of World Series, and we had Leah Remini, who I thought did a great job.
She was hilarious. But that moment when she started slapping Derek with the mic, I lost.
The moment she said, "You don't even know how it feels to get fives, don't you?" I was like,
Yes. Yeah, she was great. I laughed my butt off with her.
Yeah.
I've always found her hysterical.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think she's hosted a ton. She did the talk and everything else. So I knew she was going to handle herself well. But I love the little bit of off the cuff moments because I'm like, that's what makes Leah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what we love. All right, let's get into the night because a lot of dancing, a lot going on, and we kick off the night with Jonathan and Allison doing their jazz number. And I just have to say right off the bat, I'm happy that he went out on a good note with good scores because last week I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was just tough.
Who wants
Last
to
week though was just messy all over the place. I know you guys have already talked about it,
but it's okay.
all of us had our jaws on the floor last week with the scores, and I think a lot of pros and celebrities left feeling very upset and about what had happened. So it was great to see Jonathan go out with high scores this week and just being complimented. And truly, Allison did an amazing routine, highly syncopated and detailed. All the tutting work with the arms. It was very much hip hop jazz, but it was a brilliant routine.
Right.
And I was really proud of him for how he handled it, especially coming from such criticism the week before. It can get you down.
It can, and he had a nice little moment where she had him bust a move, and I was like, that's the Jonathan I wanted to see the whole time.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he kind of had that little moment to shine. and
I
everything.
wish he had that moment 3 weeks ago.
I agree.
Because that's essentially what I think the judges' criticism that were, started week 2, really, got to him mentally, and he kind of lost. He's so positive, and then he's kind of like one of those people, and I adore him, but he's been taking it, and he needed to fight back. And the way you fight back on Dancing with the Stars is you just go, screw everything, and this is what I'm going to do. And you commit, and you forget that judges exist, you forget that anybody exists, and you go and deliver. And that's what he did yesterday. And I wish that would have happened week 3. It's criticism, okay. Duck out of water. Don't let that criticism, just let it, That's
Roll
what
off-
I used
roll
to
off
do.
your back.
Yeah, that's what I used to. I was very, very affected, and I'm sure you felt the same way. Maybe your first season when you would get your celebrities
season.
get criticized.
Didn't we catch me throwing F-bombs all over the place?
Yeah.
You're like, after the pass.
You get criticized criticized. Your celebrities get criticized, and then you feel like it's personal. It's criticism to you. Now, on top of this season, Allison got criticized. I mean, that
a lot.
is
Yeah.
like a heart-wrenching. So. And I'm sure that affected Jonathan as well. So that was really harsh on them mentally. And again, when I saw what they did yesterday, I was like, yes, this is what needed to be done. So for anybody who ever wants to do Dancing with the Stars, I'm talking about celebrities, if you watch, I mean, learn, do that. Don't go like, do what they did yesterday.
There you go. What did you think, Suri?
I love you, Anna. I was really excited when I found out they were doing jazz. Like, and that was obviously like meant to be, clearly, because Allison and it was really hard to watch all the scores and stuff, especially Allison's face. I was like, oh, and Carrie Ann criticized her again last night.
Did she really?
Yeah, it was right at the
What'd
end,
she
and
say?
I saw Allison's face.
What'd she
I don't
say?
remember exactly what she said, but it was a criticism right at the very tail end of their judging, and you could see Allison's face kind of sink a little bit. But anyway, no, I really enjoyed it. I agree with all of you. I'm glad that he went out on a high note because he deserves it, and
He just wanted to be there. I mean, it meant a lot personally to him with his family.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he lost both parents in the last year and a half or so.
I mean, the best job he did, right? It was the best.
He was the best.
It was
All
the
eight.
best score.
Yeah.
Got a score of 32.
Very good.
All right, let's go to I Have Lots of Feelings, Janelle and Val.
You have lots of feelings?
They have lots of feelings in the
okay, yeah,
package.
I get you.
We spent a whole 5 minutes talking about feelings before we sambaed.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
She broke up with her boyfriend this week.
Did she really?
She did. Yes.
Oh, that's
and
good.
then he put a post on Instagram.
Did she?
Now,
Did she?
I have a mutual friend in between us. I won't say who it is, but they were just saying, she's actually upset. There is no romance going on.
No.
But that her boyfriend was a little uncomfortable with a little bit of the chemistry.
It would be hard. As a man, I'm not a man, but as a man, I would think it would be really hard because you guys do spend so much time.
Exactly.
And you're close together, and everybody on TV is seeing it, and I'm sure he's got family members seeing it and friends. And I mean, I would think it would be hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And especially when it comes to the package, with the minute 30 that you see before we dance, they can pick literally 90 seconds out of 35, 40 hours of footage. So they can make it anything that they want it to be. And if they want to show chemistry, they'll show chemistry.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, yes, and then as well, Val and Janelle are both really good-looking people and very talented and very passionate when they dance. So they put in this passion out, and because they're doing it towards each other, because they're just dancing with each other, they do have that chemistry. So I'd say to Janelle's boyfriend, you know what? Take a breather and come back in 5 weeks.
There you go, because it'll all be done.
Yeah.
What did we think of their samba, though?
I wish all that feelings and all that passion, because it was so much, it was such a build-up. I thought it was going to be just something so steamy and just so sexy, and it actually turned out to be a very technical routine. Like Julianne commented that it was like a competitive ballroom competition
Very much
routine.
so.
I want to comment on her outfit because her skirt looked messy to me and not in a good way. Her shoes made her look like her legs were this long and her torso was this long, and it didn't allow for a nice line because she has beautiful legs, she has gorgeous feet. I couldn't see her feet, I couldn't see her legs. It always felt like she was on bent knees, and maybe she was, I don't know. But just the costuming, I wish the skirt was a little bit shorter so I could see what's going on with the legs. And I do feel that a lot of the passion was up here in her and not enough in feet and her core.
I mean, I think she's an actress too, so it is going to be
Wonderful.
Here. You know what I mean?
Yes.
She is, no matter what she delivers neck down, she's going to deliver it up here. I thought she did really, really well. That was an incredibly difficult routine.
Yes.
Double spins into promenade runs, and God knows what else she was doing. It was amazing. I thought he did brilliant choreography. I think there were some parts where she sort of lost her balance a little bit, and
she doesn't spot very well.
She doesn't spot. She
Yeah.
doesn't. She turns really well when he controls her, but when she free spins on her own, then we lose a little bit of the control. But I agree about the skirt. I think it was too long and a little too big on her.
Yeah.
And the shoes, I would have loved to have seen Latin shoes, but those shoes are really popular right now in Dancing with the Stars, the mesh booties. Like I think it's a sexy thing, but it's still a heel and it's a little bit more fashion than Latin. So I think it's just more a fashion choice than anything else. A style.
Yeah, but when let's say I agree, but also, and I don't think Val is probably paying attention so much to that, but when you wear something. It's just about proportion and line. You
Right,
know what I mean?
absolutely.
And I felt in her grooming, the proportion and line. So she had this flat hair. I'm sorry I'm taking so much time about the appearances, but appearances matter. She had this flat thing. She had almost no top, so it's very little. She has this big, full, huge skirt. Looked huge on her because
and
she's an
petite.
elf size.
Yeah, she's tiny.
She's, little Tinkerbell size. And then those shoes that didn't elongate her lines.
Sorry, what do you think? All right, we've got the fashion report.
Well, I would say something about the overall performance.
Yes.
For me, I agreed with Pitbull a little bit.
He gave a 7.
Yeah, and look, I liked it. I love everything Val does. I really do. I can't say enough about him. I say it every week. I love everything he kind of puts together. I wanted to feel that passion, and I don't know where it was not. Maybe it wasn't coming from the core, like as you said.
Because the passion got lost in the technicality. So the routine was so complex that she was
She's probably
thinking about her routine and doing those double spins and losing her spotting and losing her balance, and her feet weren't coming together, and she was just trying to get through this routine that there weren't enough moments for her where she could deliver what.
Maybe catch your breath. Maybe that's
Right.
sometimes what you need. You need that moment of just like, okay.
I think that's the point, though. You need moments in a routine, and that's something that I'm even discovering, and something I learned with Charlie. When you have someone that is talented, it's very easy to just keep throwing it at them because you can, and you very rarely get that opportunity, so you get excited. But sometimes you're going for quantity over quality.
Yeah.
And to entertain the people at home, you need moments for them to connect to, because a lot of the time they don't care how good your New Yorker or your back basic is.
Exactly.
They have no idea. I mean, all
not
those
gonna know how
finding
to
the
balance.
balance. No.
Yeah,
It's finding the balance, and I find usually Val does find that balance really, really well. But this is actually a song that we would compete to,
Yeah.
and have done for a long
He got
time.
excited.
Yeah, I would have been. I would have done
Yes.
exactly the same thing.
Hey, understandable. So the scores were a little bit all over the map, 8-7-9-9. So there you go. It's 33. We move on to Tommy and Peta doing the foxtrot, and don't ever count Tommy Chong out.
Ever.
Ever.
I'm telling you, I think he's going to be in the semifinal for sure.
crazy.
I think so too. And what is he like in person? Because we just all are obsessed with him.
I'm obsessed with him. He's just, I adore him. There's something about that face, and he's got such a sweet, wonderful energy about him, but he's so funny, and he can have really, I don't want to say this in the wrong way to make him look bad, but like really dirty comments sometimes, but from him it's cute. And not in an overly sexual way, but like you'll have on a great dress and you're just coming from Tommy
naughty.
Chong, it's hilarious. A little bit naughty, that's the word. He can be a little bit naughty, and I love that about him. And I just have to say that Peter's doing an amazing job with him this season. He is 76. He does have a lot of trouble remembering his routines. As we have seen in the packages, she could teach something for an hour and then he'll forget the whole thing. And every day she comes in and she reteaches that routine.
Wow.
And this week it almost didn't happen. And I think we've seen such a side of Peta this season that we haven't been able to see because
love
she's
it.
always with the hot, sexy guy.
Yep.
And I love her choreography. I love what she's doing. I love the way she is with him. I think it's just so brilliant to see that from her.
A funny, sweet side that we haven't seen from the home audience or anything else like that. And I'm having a blast watching her have a blast with him.
Absolutely. And that's truly who she is. That's the girl that I've known for 10 years.
That's awesome.
That's her personality.
I love that. Sorry.
I was so excited to see him this week versus last week. I didn't, you know what I mean? I was a little concerned going into this week to see what we were going to get, but how awesome was that?
It was just great.
I know.
He's better in hold, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
Yes, I
guiding him.
think he has when he has her near, I think he feels more confident because she gives him that stability in the way, and she's a strong girl, so she can kind of backlead him here and there and indirect
Maneuver just a little bit.
just a smidge. I do want to comment on his package. What was that?
Spiritual.
I think the package was inspired.
Peter's face, and she's like,
Yeah, I mean, her eyes already quite big, and then they've just gotten, Disney big kind of a thing.
He's like the hippie, like weed smoking.
Yeah, let's go sweat and meditate
In the desert together.
But you know what I understood? Because it's earth, wind, and fire.
And they danced Earth, Wind, and Fire last night. I love that song, though, I do have to say. It's
yeah.
It's amazing. All sevens, 28. I thought that was great.
And by the way, just note, we have not commented on any technique, anybody, because I think we all agree he's 76. Give a guy a break.
yeah.
He's out there having fun. We all love him, and he keeps on getting voted through.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of his journey, honestly. So
And I love watching him. I want to keep watching him.
I do too.
And that's a lot of what this show's about too. Who do you want to watch? You know?
Yeah, you always have like the group. It seems like the last few seasons there's been like the good dancers in the end, and then there's that one that's like not the greatest dancer but has one of the biggest hearts or something that you just love following that journey through. So
Right.
there you go.
This is true.
Antonio and Cheryl doing the salsa. This package was really hard to watch.
Yeah.
Her dad had a seizure and he was in Thailand, and the stress of all of that.
It was, I actually got flown out to Kentucky midweek because...
Is that where he lives?
No, he was working out there for the other show that he does. And all of a sudden, I'm on set with Mandy Moore doing another project with her. And I get a phone call saying, we need you to be on a plane in a few hours to go to Kentucky.
my gosh.
Cheryl's dad's not well. You're going to have to learn Antonio's routine in case you have to dance with him. And I was out there with her for 2 days. And it's just... She's such an incredible woman to be able to walk into that rehearsal room and still be a teacher and still give him what he needs every minute of that rehearsal whilst everything's going on. And I don't think you necessarily got to see all of that in such a short package, but it was an incredibly hard week. And it's still ongoing, and she's still not sure what's happening and whether she's going to have to go back. So to have that play on your mind is really incredibly difficult. And I thought, considering that, what an amazing job that they both did that night.
I thought it was a really fun way to showcase Antonio in a way that we haven't seen, and he seemed to be really into it. He seemed more relaxed than we've seen him in previous weeks.
Yes.
And, he's not a natural mover. We've kind of established that.
Yeah.
For someone that's so buff, he just moves in,
Really shocked by that, by the way. I'm sure
I
you
am
said
too.
that, but I was like,
gosh, right?
you can't... Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
One more time.
I expected him to be this hot, like, sexy dancer.
Right.
Okay, and I
Like a
wrongly said he
William
was
Levy.
Latino. He's Italian. But I still expected him to be like this hot-blooded, like, dancer out there.
Yeah.
I was sitting next to some people, and I was prepping them before they started about how wooden he, normally is. And then I'm watching, I'm like, oh, well, he's doing really well. He's doing better. He's doing really well.
I almost
nice.
feel like because Cheryl had such a tough week and she had to she didn't step back, but he knew what she's going through. He kind of stepped up.
Yeah.
He kind of took that responsibility, and because it's so it's hard for celebrities or students in general to step out of being a student role into being a partner role. And I
Right.
feel this was the first dance where he was the partner.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we saw. He was connected with her. He was aware of his surroundings. He did his steps. Yeah, he missed a couple things here and there, but he still had the gist of the routine. It wasn't
Right.
like what
Deer in a headlight.
he was
Yeah.
still there, and I love the usage of all the other dancers and
Yes.
doing little circular salsa. I think that was really cute.
Yeah. was fun.
It was well constructed, and he showed some improvement, so I think that's good. All 7s across the board for 28 on that one. Then we go to Mark and Sadie doing the rumba, and I was like, you know that they purposely gave them the rumba because they knew that this was going to be controversial for 17-year-old Sadie. They've also had Bethany do it, who's 18.
Well, was this like the old Latin night?
Yeah, but they called it hot and sexy
the
night.
hot and sexy.
Yeah.
Can I make a comment about that?
Okay, go ahead.
And people are gonna hate me on Twitter, but I mean, I can relate. And this is not about dancing, by the way. I adored the dancing. I thought the routine was beautiful.
Yeah, he
I mean,
did
there are a couple of
brilliantly.
technical things here and there that she could have done better with her feet, like bring her feet together.
Oh, and the
more
lean.
often. In the lean, she's like.
Yeah.
But I think her upper body is gorgeous. I think she looked beautiful. I think the outfit was beautiful. Everything was, the actual dance was actually really good. But the whole, and she's 17, so, but that's just something that popped into my mind. It's like, I get it that you have Christian values, but it's more than that in a way. It's the fact that it's like, oh, I have Christian values, so I'm uncomfortable doing the rumba. What's that have to do with anything? You're 17, and you probably never kissed a boy, and that's why you're uncomfortable doing the rumba.
Exactly. She also has her
just
mother
because-
and grandmother, though, approving
Right. But
choreography.
Right.
It's
a lot.
like anybody who have not like been in a close proximity like that with opposite sex, let's say, if that's your thing, or whatever, would feel very uncomfortable. And to do that in front of people and to do that in front of your parents, it's like, I mean, I was 17 and, well, then I shouldn't really compare because I did rumba and I didn't think nothing of it.
But you were next.
I was a
dancing with
dancer
partners all the time.
forever, since I was 7. So I was like, okay, rumba, here's my hand. Okay, here we go. So it's almost that. But on the positive, though, I think it was very relatable to a lot of people, especially a lot of young girls who like, I wonder how I would do that. And by the way, love the fact that she's bringing up that she's Christian. But I just wanted to bring that, like, if you're not Christian, does that mean you don't feel that way? No, you still feel the same way.
Product of your environment, though. I think it has nothing to do with religion. I think it's the way she's been raised.
Yeah.
And so she hasn't had those experiences with boys. I don't know if I'm crossing the line here. I think that's amazing.
Good.
And she very clearly knows what her image is and what she wants to represent as a young
respects
woman.
it.
And I think we all have to respect that. And if her mum and her family help her keep that in check, then I think that's amazing too. The fact is she is a public figure for young women.
Yeah.
And I think that is an incredible thing to promote. And if you are uncomfortable doing something, then you should always stand up and say so.
Yeah.
And I think Mark
agree.
did such an amazing job at
smart.
finding that balance in that routine of how to make it sweet and loving without being overly sexual.
Yeah.
And it was still very, very beautiful. I loved it, like you said. And his choreography this season has been on point for me. I
agree.
Every week I have just loved him.
He's just like in the zone.
Amazing. He's having one of his best seasons I think I've seen in a really long time.
As a choreographer, yes,
absolutely.
agree.
I agree. Sorry.
I agree with all of you, and it was lovely. It was beautiful to watch, and I think it was overall when I was watching it, I just felt sweetness, which is what they were going for. So
Yeah, and I will tell you that it did resonate with a lot of the Christian community. If you go to Google, there are articles like, she's sticking to her Christian values and what a great role model she is and everything else. So it's resonating with people. That voting base, we've seen it before.
Yeah,
they
with
vote hard.
Mark's the other partner that he had.
Candace,
yes.
yeah, even Bristol Palin, who was not a great dancer.
Right.
Yeah.
he got her. What was she, third? Top
Yeah,
three?
she was top
She made
three.
the final.
So, I mean, there you go. You sit there, and it definitely resonates. And so, she's 17 too. So it's it's better than me having to report on like Justin Bieber again. I would rather report on Sadie Robertson. Honestly, like sticking to her Christian values than
I'd rather hear it.
I'd rather hear all of that. So yay for that. Okay. Even if you don't agree with the police, at least she's not getting in trouble. Let's put it that way. 9, 10, 8, 8 on that score, 35. She did cry. So obviously this was very stressful for her, I think. Like the pressure of it, maybe.
Yeah.
And the happiness of it all. So
It's also at that point in the season where everyone's exhausted and your
Starts to
emotions are
cry.
on 10.
Yeah.
Like you could drop your phone and you'll cry at this point in the competition. It's easy
Why? I got
drop
a
of a hat.
Yeah. Everybody, let's shoot a monologue now.
Yeah, right, exactly.
All right, before we get into some of the other dances, we want to remind everyone that is downloading us on iTunes to rate us 5 stars. We sure appreciate that. And all those comments on YouTube and other forums, I do read them. I see them. They've been interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they've been interesting. I'll tell you off air. But, thank you. We do appreciate it. We take all feedback into consideration. Let's move on to Leah and Artem. I feel like everyone did salsa tonight. There was a lot of salsa, wasn't there?
Well, because, sorry.
Was there?
No, there was a rumba, there was samba.
Whitney did a
there was
salsa.
Alfonso and
Antonio did salsa.
there were a lot of
3.
salsa.
Yeah,
Three.
those
Okay,
3.
it felt like there were more, but Leah and Artem, obviously no wardrobe for Artem to have a shirt. No budget left.
I mean, do you really want him to wear one though?
No.
No, we're fine.
No.
I see it every day and I'm good with it. But keep it off, babe.
Yeah. But it is funny because he was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, and then Val took his off. Or was that before Artem? I can't remember.
Val took his off.
Everyone just has their shirt
Eye
off
candy everywhere.
Yes.
It's fine. I'm good with it.
all over the place. What did we think of Leah tonight? Or last night?
Do you want to go first?
Go ahead, Sharna. You take it.
I adore Leah, and I think when she gets out there and she performs, it's amazing. She did pick her feet up a little bit too much for me. It felt very choppy, but I honestly thought they did a better job than what was said to them by the judges, and I didn't expect that at all. I didn't expect Artem to get the comments that he got. I was just shocked by the whole thing. I thought she came out there and she really gave it everything. I thought that with the boat at the beginning, visually it was beautiful, and she just had fun. You know what I mean? It was just, I don't personally understand where it went so wrong for the judges, you know?
I have my theory about that. I think the song wasn't quite there because it was a Pitbull song, right?
Yeah.
So we had a lot of Pitbull songs, and maybe that's why we had a lot of salsas.
But unfortunately, sometimes we don't have that choice.
Yeah, we can't have that choice. So I think Artem did exactly what any other pro would do because it had such a romantic and flowy almost beginning.
Right.
And then it got into this hardcore rhythm. So he kind of did what he had to do, and they went a little romantic, and that's what she looks the best doing, actually. I still don't think that Latin is her best style.
No, she definitely, ballroom is certainly
Ballroom
hers. Yeah.
and anything lyrical, maybe rumba is good. But when it comes down to cha-chas and salsas, there's just, again, and she's got that comment before, so I think she really needs to address that. A lot comes up here, and because it comes here, it doesn't have a chance to get into the hip.
Right.
So she never gets into that compression into the hip and grounded into the floor, just because she kind of stays here. Plus, she has like really long legs, and they really like lanky.
Yeah.
So that makes it harder. So it wasn't my favorite dance for her. I think the choreography was fine. I thought, like, how many lifts and tricks can you put in one routine?
Right. He did great. He stacked it.
That was incredible. I mean, the amount of lifts and tricks was like professional level.
Yeah.
But everything in between, it was not my cup of tea.
Did you see, because last week this was noted, and I think, you and I talked about this before the show, but they said they saw a little self-doubt in last week's performance. I felt like I saw it for a moment, like a flash of it, where she's like, what's next? You know, when you sit there and you're like, what's the next step? That little bit of panic on her face. And I wonder if, like, sometimes that creeps in to her.
Yeah,
And when you get
possibly.
to the sort of the later stages of the game, you're like, oh, I might make it to, top 5, top 4. You start psyching yourself out.
It gets at that point. It is. You start to overthink things and overanalyze, and then you're also tired at the same time. And I'm sure I didn't necessarily see her face sort of register that way, but I have seen it on people many times, on celebs during the show. I mean, heck, we have moments like that. I had one moment in the Pitbull number last night. I was like, oh God, what's the next move? Oh God, there it is. I was like, and I can see it on my face when I dance, whether anybody else can. And we're all human like that too,
Yes, we are.
Performance-wise, what I love about her is that she is all in and she goes for it.
Yeah.
And you know that she does. And as an actress, she can kind of bring it. But, and I love Artem. I can't say enough about him either. Love, love, love. I don't know if it's because we know of her ballet training and whatever. I always want more I'm always left feeling a little empty with her, just a little bit. I don't mean that in a negative, bad way. I just want.
It's like she
more.
hasn't connected all the dots yet in her body and her mind.
Yeah.
You know, the dots between the body and the mind has not quite. I mean, they're like this, but they're not quite perfect connection. But she's you know, she's gonna be there till the end, and she's gonna come through, and she's gonna get that. For sure. I mean, with a teacher like Artem, you have no chance, according to that package that we just saw. You'll get it.
You'll get it. Just do it. All 8s across the board for 32. We then move on to Michael and Emma doing the Argentine tango. Okay, I'm going to start off with Emma for just 1 second. Just nails it again. I mean, every week we talk about like what she's wearing. Her costume.
Every week.
Outfits are always great, so loved it.
Yep.
But let's talk about Michael because you know I think a lot of people thought this was his week to go home.
I thought that it was
I didn't
his
think
week.
so. I'm like that NASCAR voting block.
It's
is
huge.
huge.
He ain't going nowhere.
No, it's the #1 sport in the nation. It beats
It is?
football.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
What?
It's the #1 spectator sport in the U.S.
I didn't know that, and I'm a sports person.
And I interviewed Michael this week, and I have to tell you, like the most positive, uplifting, is okay with things happening. He's just like, you know what? I just go back out there and I try. And I'm just going to learn to dance and have fun and like learn something for my wife, so that when I go home, we'll be dancing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just that.
It's lovable.
It's very lovable.
It's lovable. He's a sweetheart.
He is. Yeah, tell us how he is, because he seems like an open book.
He is. He's really funny and really sweet, and at times very quiet too. Like he's not. You see him get out on the dance floor and he wiles out a little bit and has a laugh, and he can be very outspoken in a funny way. But he's not necessarily that all the time. You know, he's very very humble and very sweet and just fun to be around.
Nice.
And I love the chemistry that he and Emma have. I mean, she's just amazing with taking care of people and being that nurturing personality and so patient. And I admire her so much for what she's been doing this season and since she's been a part of the show.
Yes.
And I adore watching them. I thought she nailed it last night with that routine too. It was very simple, and the song was not traditionally Argentine tango, but she found a way to make it work. And again, we don't have a choice in the music sometimes. She could have got given that track and they said, we'll make it work. She goes, okay, I'll make it work. And she did a brilliant job.
It created a nice atmosphere, something we haven't seen from Michael too.
There was that moment at the end though where we were all in the red room watching and we went, oh, at the ending it was like, did they just make out?
I did the same thing.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, didn't he say
saw
he
the
missed?
lipstick.
Yeah.
Then you saw the lipstick on the side. I was like, oh, okay, got it, cool. I was like, because that might have
He
been
said he
too
tried
much.
to go for it. I think he
God,
said,
I
and
love
he's like,
it.
I missed your mouth.
Yeah. I think Emma was a little bit like, oh. Hey, you can't blame her for trying. She's a beautiful girl.
I mean, she's wearing a see-through leotard, for crying out loud. But coming back and confirming, because Emma is a dear friend, she's kind of like a Mother Teresa of ballroom dancing on Dancing with the Stars. She's a Mother Teresa of Dancing with the Stars. In a leotard, you know, but she is very patient, she's very kind, and she has a very open, warm heart towards her students, and she will take care of them. She has a sort of motherly quality in the way, but also very appropriate. So again, couldn't say more. Actually, about both of them looked fantastic. Both of their outfits. I mean, he looked very sharp and debonair in his suit, and the music choice, weird. Just totally weird for Argentine tango. I mean, this routine could have been so much more banging in a good way if it would be had a bit more beat underneath it, even if it was the same song but with a little bit more something staccato that they could relate to. The rest was it. Again, he's not an amazing dancer. So when I watch him, it's almost like I don't watch his movement. I just watch his energy when I watch. I watch his positive energy. I watch his aura. It sounds kind of weird like that, but I can't even. If you ask me what did he do in his routine, I don't know. But it was cute.
But it gave the judges something different. It wasn't comedy, so you know, they said they wanted something different.
Yeah,
This was
Exactly.
180 from that.
It was one of my favorite numbers of the night.
Aww.
It was, yeah. surprised myself.
Well, there you go. 8787 for a total of 30 altogether. We haven't really talked about Pitbull as a judge, but I don't have anything to add really about him being a judge because he kept saying, I don't know anything about dance, so here's a 8 or a 7.
But I will say he's better than some of the judges that they've had because he's honest, like he's not trying to be Mr. Technical, technician up there.
Yeah.
And there's been some very, as we agree, questionable judges.
Tell me who.
Red Foo was my big one. Red Foo
was just
least fave.
out of he was on another he was in another galaxy,
Right.
not in the ball.
Not that it wasn't fun, but it's just like you know
Right.
He had no idea what was going on.
I would rather them just, I understand, Len is basically on his way to retirement, but I'd rather just them have 3 judges and he's out 4 or 5 weeks in the middle of the season.
This season is just so tough because he does Strictly at the same time.
Yeah, it is tough.
So is Bruno.
So Bruno's
He's younger.
a lot younger than Len,
yeah.
and Len's been doing it. I mean, they've both been doing it for the whole time anyway, but I can understand where Len's coming from in not wanting to get on that plane every Sunday and go straight
brutal.
to CBS.
It's brutal on your body. But it's just, I'm almost like he's kind of irreplaceable. I guess maybe that's the thing.
He is irreplaceable.
When you throw in some of these guest judges, I'm like, like I'd rather hear more comments from the judges or more comments from the dancers or the skybox or.
I have to say I do miss him. I wish it sounds weird. I miss you, Len. Come back. So I hope he comes back and he's much more, there the following season in the spring because. I love Bruno. I love Carrie Ann. I think Julianne is doing a good job. Having different guest judges, I think it's a good touch. If talking about, I didn't mind Pitbull as a judge. I thought he was okay. What I sort of minded was because it was a lot of his music. It sounded the same. Everything sounded very similar. The style was the same. I wish there would be a little bit more. Change, difference.
Variety.
That was the variety is a good.
That's fair.
All right, let's go into Bethany and Derek doing their tango, going to Australia. He had to come back to get an award.
Shana's like, why didn't I go to Australia?
She had 7 hours of rehearsal in total.
Literally.
7 hours, guys. Like that. What she pulled out there on the dance floor is pretty amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely. I have to agree with that. And I really want to say that hair and makeup did an incredible job on her.
She looked gorgeous.
Her hair was incredible.
That was awesome.
Amazing.
Breathtaking.
and the costume too. Was really,
The whole
really
look.
good. Everything.
I love the change from last week, which I thought was phenomenal on her, the look, and to this week. Yeah. So.
Does she have a lot of output into her outfits, or is it sort of like Derek says, I want something like that, and then wardrobe, hair, and makeup sort of create her look?
I honestly don't really know. I think she probably has a lot to do with her hair and makeup since she's sort of so involved with all of that. And she probably does with her costumes too. I'm just not there when she designs them, but she's definitely a girl that knows what she likes, knows what she wants and what looks good on her. She's very, very grown up for her age, and I have a lot of respect for her. I think she's a wonderful girl. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's very much like, no, I saw this picture and I want to do something like this for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can imagine her doing that.
Yeah, she's the most mature 18-year-old, I swear to God.
I also feel like
is.
for me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I see more confidence coming through.
Yeah.
For sure.
She's had a, and this is the thing, I get yelled at about Bethany more than anyone, because at first we were like, we're not connecting with her, we're not understanding.
I haven't all season.
Darling.
Yeah.
Oh, they're yelling at all of us, honey.
Really?
I'm like, let me let
Well,
you know.
we can't hear you.
Let me tell you. No, but this is the thing, and I totally understand who she is, a YouTube personality. We weren't seeing it out on the dance floor, but she's had this really nice, steady pacing of like each week, like another layer comes off, another layer. I thought Mark did a great job of like setting up for what happened this week with Derek. Like,
Yes.
and it's just been really nice to watch the progress out there on the dance floor.
100%, because we all know that I've had a hard time connecting with her every week, and now I like the last 2 weeks. It's like, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Another layer. Awesome.
To me, what is happening to Bethany and what's the 17-year-old?
Sadie.
Bethany and Sadie is just a true testament to how good Mark and Derek are as teachers, choreographers, and mentors in the way. Psychological mentors, emotionally, how they're able to relate to their girls and to bring that out of them. If they would have anybody else as a teacher, I don't know how they would do. I really don't.
Well, Val did well with Zendaya, who was 17, I think, at the time, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Zendaya
Was like up here.
was like a dancer quality. She was, you know, she did some dancing here and there, and she was a performer. Like Bethany is not really, and we talked about
Yeah,
it
like-
many times. I mean,
They're bringing out the performer in her.
Exactly.
That's what's happening. So, all 9s for them. I thought that was a great score for 7
yeah.
hours. Maybe they should only rehearse 7 hours a week. I don't know. And go to Australia and back and get award for bullying.
As long as they take me next time.
Anti-bullying, I guess.
Take me to
And take
Australia.
Sharna.
Please.
36 was their score. Final couple of the night, Whitney and Alfonso doing a salsa. Groin injuries. She gets dropped in dress rehearsal. There was a lot going on. She was upset from last week.
Yeah.
Made me sad.
That's that time that in the halfway through the season where everybody just gets very emotional and tired and a lot of pressure, and she's still very young. I mean, we see her put in this fierce performance, and we think something like the level of performance that she puts out there is like somebody like a 30-year-old would do.
Right.
But she's not. She's like 20, right?
She's 20.
Just turned 21.
That's right, she had her birthday
She
this week.
still is young, and it's
But
a
plus-
learning curve.
Don't you guys feel a sense of responsibility when you have someone else's partner?
Yeah.
A little
Absolute-
bit, you know?
oh,
And I mean, the
absolutely.
score, you know, and I would think it would be extra hard to swallow.
The switch up week, you love it and you hate it for many reasons. You love it because it's something different and it breaks up the season a little bit for you, but in many ways it's so much pressure. And it really, what it turns into is a competition of pitching one pro against the other. Who's going to do better with
Yeah.
that celebrity, and who's going to get a better
Right.
score with that one? And none of us want that.
Yeah.
All we want to do is do well for the other pro.
Right.
You know, but we seem to get pitched against each other so much, and you feel very naked to the possibility of criticism. And I think someone like Whitney, who's done a fantastic job this season, and then to have that happen, really felt it, and probably was worried that she let Emma down, was worried that she let Michael down, and also was probably thinking, my God, what do people think of me? They think that I can't do this. And she shouldn't think that at all, because she's
course.
incredibly talented. But we all have those insecurities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've cried my eyes out after episodes before, wondering, oh my God, did I let him down, me down?
Yeah.
You know, and it does come with maturity too.
Yeah.
But I think for her second season in, she's absolutely nailing it, doing an amazing job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that salsa was incredible.
Let's talk about Mr. Salsa himself.
Yeah, let's talk about Alfonso. How did he do out there on the dance floor?
Anna?
I loved it. I think I would say that was one of his best dances that he showcased. I mean, Carlton was phenomenal because
Right.
it was Carlton. But this was so, I mean, usually I tend to watch the pros a lot, and then I kind of have to go, what did the celebs do? And I have to rewatch. I watched him the whole time. He
Yeah.
was so spot on. He had so much spunk. He had so much rhythmicality in him. He led her through all of these things, and he had a groin injury. And how old is he?
He's 40-ish,
42.
41.
40-ish
43,
too, so
something
he's
like
not
that.
a spring chicken. You know, so his groin injury is probably going to take him a few weeks to get over it.
Groin injuries are brutal.
They are.
Yeah, nasty stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, they've got another dance to go into. It's not like, oh, you got the week
Yeah.
off.
Two dances. It's team dance this
Team
week.
dance, that's right.
Oh,
Two dances to go straight into. They had to rehearse straight after the show last night.
That was a long. All
How's he
right.
feeling?
He's in a lot of pain, as far as I know. He also had hurt his back as well. So there's a lot going on there, but he's certainly trying to push through. He wants this.
Yeah.
He wants to be there till the end, like everybody does right now. And it's funny how you can push through things when you want something so much.
exactly.
So I,
Word.
3 10s and a 9 on that one for a total of 39. Nice work.
much fun.
We do have to wrap up, but just a couple things because we have so many fan questions. We could be here all night. Everyone was asking me about Ballroom with the Twist and the lawsuit, and because people are involved, it's a legal case that's pending. We can't say anything, so I just wanted to let everyone know that. Everyone that had questions, but can you talk a little bit about the beginning of the season when the big pro announcement happens and everyone's like, "Where the heck is Sharna?"
We all were like that.
Yes,
I'm sure Sharna was like that
was
too.
like
Where the hell is Sharna?
I mean, were you at home watching Good Morning America? Like, what the heck? Like,
No, I did get told that the day before,
Okay.
and leading up to it, and knowing when people are getting confirmed and whatnot, because we all talk. I knew that I was not going to be announced on GMA, which was certainly a hard thing to hear. There was the possibility of the 13th celebrity, and they were trying to confirm Tavis. And at that point, he was going back and forth on whether he could or could not do it in his book tour. And they were desperately trying to get him, but it was just taking a long time for him to confirm. And so I was the 13th one waiting to hear, which really sucked because I felt like the last kid picked on the baseball team. And, you know, that does hurt, but it also, you know, proves the point to me again that we are all replaceable, you know, and that we have to cherish every single moment that we get on this show. And I certainly had an amazing time with Charlie last season, and if that was going to be it, then I wouldn't say I'd be happy, but I had certainly had a lot of fun. But I am incredibly grateful to be back. And I just want to say to all of the fans and everything that I got online, I did not expect that. It was so wonderful that it literally brought me to tears because I was emotional about maybe not coming back, and to know that so many people had my back and so many people were shocked and even angry that I wasn't on the list just filled me with so much joy, and I realized how much love there is out there for me. And I think that was probably the most amazing thing that came out of it for me, was realizing that appreciation.
And I hope Rob Wade sees that as well. I'm just letting it out there, Rob. Hey. You'll be doing Sway also in December, and Shall We Dance, and
everywhere. I'm everywhere. I'm doing the Dance with the Stars at Sea. I'm doing the Shall We Dance on Ice with Charlie. I'm also doing Sway, then a little more Dancing with the Stars at Sea, and depending on what happens with Borum with a Twist,
big question mark.
hopefully I'll be doing that too.
That's right.
Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, we don't want to comment any further on any of that to get anyone in hot water.
Please.
Yes. But thank you so much for coming back. We missed you last season.
My pleasure.
Cheering you on. Tell everyone where they can find you online.
You can find me on pretty much any social media outlet on @Sharna Burgess.
All right, Suri.
About the same, at Suri Serano.
Anna.
At Trebunskaya on Twitter, Trebunskaya on Instagram, Anna Trebunskaya Facebook, and the website.
All right, I'm at Kristyn Burtt on Twitter and the Kristyn Burtt on Facebook and Instagram. Next week we've got Sasha Farber, someone else we missed last season, who will be back in
Another
studio.
Aussie.
Another Aussie,
Yeah.
exactly. And hopefully Jake will be back, or maybe he booked the job. We don't know. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next week here on AfterBuzz TV.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.